Tales from the Crypt. A Slight Case of Murder is a darkly compelling journey into the mind of a man consumed by ambition, obsession, and the irresistible lure of power. From the first scene, the film establishes a chilling tone, with dimly lit interiors and shadows that stretch unnaturally across walls, reflecting the protagonist's moral and psychological descent. The story begins with the introduction of the central character, a man whose outward composure belies the chaotic inner world that drives him toward increasingly dangerous decisions. The camera work in these opening sequences emphasizes claustrophobia and tension, often framing the protagonist in confined spaces that symbolize his entrapment by his own desires. Even the smallest gestures, a twitch of the eye, a tightening grip on a piece of paper, signal a mind teetering on the brink of moral collapse. As the plot unfolds, the film meticulously chronicles the protagonist's elaborate schemes to rid himself of obstacles standing in the way of his wealth and personal ambition. Each scene builds on the interplay between careful planning and psychological unraveling. In one striking moment, he rehearses a murder with obsessive attention to detail, only for unforeseen factors to intrude, creating a tension that borders on the unbearable. These sequences are heightened by the film's use of sound, the barely perceptible creak of floorboards, distant footsteps, and subtle environmental noises that magnify the protagonist's growing paranoia. The audience is drawn into his psyche, feeling both his confidence and his creeping fear, aware that his carefully constructed reality is vulnerable to collapse at any moment. The supporting characters serve as both catalysts and mirrors for the protagonist's psychological state. Each interaction is loaded with subtext, revealing not only the manipulations at play but also the vulnerabilities that human connection exposes. A minor character, ostensibly innocent, delivers a quiet comment that unravels a critical element of the protagonist's plan, demonstrating how even the most trivial interactions can have devastating consequences. These moments create a pervasive sense of tension and unpredictability, making every scene feel alive with the potential for catastrophe. The actors' performances are nuanced, conveying subtle shifts in emotion and motivation that enhance the film's psychological depth. I was particularly struck by the way the lead actor conveys growing desperation not through dialogue but through micro-expressions, slight twitches, faltering gestures, and nervous glances that communicate volumes about his unraveling mental state. Visually, the film employs a sophisticated palette of shadows, reflections, and distorted perspectives to mirror the protagonist's psychological turmoil. Hallways appear longer than they are, objects loom menacingly in the background, and mirrors are used to reflect not only physical spaces but also the fractured nature of his mind. The set design and cinematography work in tandem to create a world that feels both familiar and deeply unsettling, with the ordinary rendered sinister through careful composition and lighting. One particularly memorable scene features a seemingly mundane office space transformed into a stage of tension through the strategic use of shadows and angles, amplifying the sense of impending doom. The film's exploration of moral ambiguity and human fallibility is both intense and thought-provoking. Characters who initially seem innocuous reveal darker motives, while those who appear cunning are sometimes humbled by the randomness of circumstance. This interplay keeps the audience psychologically engaged, challenging assumptions and inviting reflection on the nature of morality, ambition, and the consequences of human desire. A scene in which the protagonist confronts the unintended outcomes of his actions serves as a stark reminder that every choice carries weight, and even the most meticulous planning cannot account for the unpredictability of human behavior. Sound design and musical scoring play a crucial role in amplifying the psychological intensity of the film. Low, throbbing tones underscore moments of tension, while sudden bursts of sound punctuate instances of shock and surprise. Even silence is used effectively, creating an unsettling emptiness that mirrors the protagonist's growing isolation and paranoia. The interplay between sound and narrative enhances immersion, allowing viewers to feel the character's escalating anxiety and fear as he navigates a world that grows increasingly treacherous with each passing moment. I found myself holding my breath during sequences where the quiet was almost unbearable, only to be startled by sudden, perfectly timed auditory cues that reflected both danger and dark humor. The film's pacing is deliberate, alternating between intense psychological sequences and quieter moments of reflection that allow the audience to process the character's mental state. This rhythm creates a sense of inexorable progression toward catastrophe, with tension building incrementally until it reaches a climax that is both shocking and inevitable. The editing is precise, ensuring that every visual and auditory element contributes to the cumulative impact of the narrative. Even minor details, from a shaking hand to a flickering candle, carry symbolic weight, reinforcing the protagonist's psychological instability and foreshadowing his eventual downfall. Ultimately, A Slight Case of Murder culminates in a finale that is as psychologically satisfying as it is narratively coherent. The protagonist's elaborate schemes unravel in a series of events that are both ironic and horrifying, reflecting the central theme that ambition and moral compromise are inextricably linked to consequences beyond human control. The final sequences are imbued with a sense of poetic justice, leaving viewers with a mixture of relief, shock, and contemplation. The film's ability to intertwine dark humor with psychological terror ensures that it resonates on multiple levels, engaging both intellectually and emotionally. In conclusion, Tales from the Crypt, A Slight Case of Murder is a masterful study of human ambition, moral decay, and psychological tension. Its meticulous narrative construction, immersive cinematography, and nuanced performances create a cinematic experience that is both thrilling and unsettling. The film challenges viewers to consider the fragility of human plans, the inevitability of consequence, and the complex interplay between morality and desire. It is a work that rewards careful attention, revealing new insights with each viewing, and stands as a testament to the power of psychological horror intertwined with darkly comic storytelling. This film leaves a lasting impression, compelling audiences to reflect on their own understanding of human nature, ambition, and the consequences of unchecked desire.